Mary Beth is going to mute herself. There we go. So this session is on global grants and global grants training. We have the honor of having with us our resident expert here in the Rotary Foundation, and Rotary Foundation giving and the Rotary Foundation spending, as well as being personally involved in grants and saving and changing lives out there. Our past district governor, Dr. Helene Kalfas, who's going to lead us today. So Dr. Helene, take it away, please.
Thank you, Rudy. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, are you? You look like it. If you're not muted and you have a noisy environment, please do mute now. We're going to look at a PowerPoint that I put together for you. I want to start off just by saying this is not rocket science. This is how to do a global grant. And I know that all of you are here this morning because you have an interest in doing global grants. So let's take a look at the slides I've put together. We'll ask and answer questions, and let's see if we can get this clear for everybody. And at the end of it, I want you to tell me if you think it's not rocket science too. Okay, so let's move on to the first slide, Rudy, please. You there, Rudy? There we go. All right, what do we need to do to start a global grant? First, you really need to have a plan. I hear noise. Thank you. Whoever turned off that noise. All right, first you need to do, you need your club to fill out a memorandum of understanding. That's the easiest thing to do. Steve Yeager, our DRFC, will send you one. He'll email you one. All you have to do is have your president and your incoming president sign it and get it back to him. Once we have that, you need to look into doing a community needs assessment. A global grant will not fly like a rocket if you don't do a community needs assessment. TRF is going to look for it. You must do it. It is now mandatory. All the years that I've been recommending that it be done so that you know what needs to be done and you're spending your money wisely, they finally made it into a mandate. So community needs assessments are easy to do. I've given you a website there where on the Rotary website where you can get a template for a community needs assessment. And if you are doing a global grant where the host is in a foreign country, they have to have the responsibility of doing the global grant. If they don't do it, that's a warning to you not to really count on them in doing a global grant. So community needs assessment, mandatory. Number 3, you need both international and host partners. If you are the host partner and the grant is being done in your community, then you are the host and you need to get an international partner. Everybody says, well, how can I get an international partner? I don't know anybody in Kenya or Uganda or India. Well, there are people in this district who do know people there. And so your PDGs are a very good source of contacts for foreign international partners. I mean, I've done so many grants in India, in Uganda, in Malaysia. I know that Rich Dalacqua has done grants in other places. Most of the PDGs, most of them, not all of them, but most of them have done grants elsewhere, and they can help you find a partner if you can't find one. And I've got a slide on that too, so we'll talk a little more about that in one of the next slides. But I would recommend that you do a little reading before you step into the pool of global grants. And I've listed 3 of them down there. And they're all available on the Rotary website, www.rotary.org/grants, and you can get all of this information. It is a wealth of information for you to do global grants. And the guide to global grants is particularly good. And I jot down the other 2 as well, because they all offer excellent information. Rudy, may I have the next slide? Do I hear a question? No. Let's have the next slide, please, Rudy. Thank you. Now, finding partners, and I've really emphasized on the top of that slide, ask, ask, ask. Ask every PDG you know, do you have a partner that I can contact in thus and such country? If not, there is a website called matchinggrants.org that could give you some projects with which you could be involved. We used to have our own little website listing, but I'm not sure that that's up and running now. Steve, is that up and running now?
No, but it is one that I am currently working on and hope to have active during Dan's year.
Excellent, excellent. Well, meanwhile, until Steve does get that up and running, our governor's newsletter has been publishing at least 2 available grants in this district with which you could get involved. And I think there is an attendee here, Dick Haley, is it, that asked a question about an Arizona Indian water project. And I know that the Yucca Valley Sunset Club is doing that grant. And I believe that that has been published in the governor's newsletter. But if he is still with us, he should contact the Yucca Valley Sunset Club if he has a particular interest in that grant. Let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, here we go. We've done our MOU. We have completed our community needs assessment. We know what we want to do. We've been collaborating with our partner, whether it's the host partner or an international partner. And now we are going to the website at www.rotary.org/grants to find out what we need to do to get this application so that it gets approved. And so here is the slide from the website of the Rotary Grant Center. And I've got 2 little yellowish arrows to the right that point out that they have the global grant application template as well as a global grant report template right there for you to open and take a look at. And Lordy, you can actually print it out. Holy moly, does this make it easy? You print it out, you take a look at what they're asking for you to tell them, and you can type up or write down a whole plan on paper and have it ready to go. So it makes it so easy for you. I warned you this was not rocket science. And when I say that, I mean it's very easy to do this. So you print these things out, you have the template in front of you. It will ask you specific questions for information, specific information. So when we sit down with the template and you fill it out completely, and you have established your funding, you've established exactly what the project going to be, who's going to be involved, what it entails, who the beneficiaries of this are going to be, how many beneficiaries you're going to have from this grant, all the kinds of information that if you were giving your bank account proceeds to someone, you would want to know too, to find out where the money's going to go, if you're going to have enough money to do this, if it is feasible to do it. These are questions that you would be asking someone who wanted to borrow from you. And that's why the Rotary Foundation does exactly that. So let's move on to the next slide, Rudy. You know, we have to remember that the Rotary Foundation is your foundation. It doesn't belong to the president of Rotary. It doesn't belong to the directors at Rotary. It belongs to you and me. We own that foundation. We fund it. We tell it what to do. We tell it where to do it, how to do it, and when to do it. So I think that we have a large enough say that we can truly understand that this money belongs to us. And we have a responsibility to be sure that we spend your money, my money, in the best possible way, and we get the most bang for our buck. And that's why the Rotary Foundation does what it does with its grant programs. And by the way, that's why it's rated 4 stars by Charity Navigator. You can't get any higher than 4 stars. So it's a pretty good foundation. And not only that, we have oversight. Did you know that you have oversight over what the foundation does and what happens with these grants and how these grants function? Because we have a whole unit of cadre members that inspect these projects. So look at all of the decisions that you have to make. Who's the host? Who's the international partner? Who's the sponsor? You know, you can be an international partner and have a host and have another club come in with you and give you their DVF or their cash, and they become a sponsor. You can raise the amount of money that you need to do this. And it might take maybe a month more or 2 months more, but in the end, it'll all be worth it. So you need to work all of this out prior to sending in your application. Your application has to be very complete and very specific. Use your district staff to review your application if you want to be on the safe side. Now, we've got people in this district who are qualified to review your application, to even help you plan your project. And these are cadre members. And I've listed them right there. All the names of the cadre members that I am aware of today are listed there. I have certification in basic education literacy and disease prevention and treatment. Rudy is a grant, what is that, Rudy? Grant planning and writing, as does Ricardo Laredo, and Dan Goodrich has expertise in water and sanitation and hygiene. So all of us have different areas of specialties, but you're all qualified to look at your grants, tell you whether it's going to fly with TRF before you even send it in. So use your district. Your DRFC is an asset. Don't forget to use your DRFC. Okay, here we're with the next one. This is collaborating with the cadre. You know, the cadre is composed of over 700 volunteers worldwide in Rotary who volunteer their expertise to be sure that your money that you've given to the foundation is being spent in the right way and is being used properly, and that you're getting your bang for your buck. So you can read that yourself. I don't need to read that to you. And you can see that they monitor and evaluate projects. They actually do site visits. My husband and I went to India and we looked at a cataract operation that involved 18,000 patients. And we visited 5 cities in India, all of which were participating in this project. And we had to make sure that the benefits of surgery were just as great for them as they are for people here in this country. So the complication rate had to be pretty good to balance what the United States complication rate is. So we're being very careful with your dollars. And that's why we all need to be careful when we make an application for a grant, and we take our responsibility with the grants very seriously. And we have to have people in the clubs who are the primary contacts, who as has been mentioned before, are available to be contacted. If somebody leaves, you need to know that you've got a global grant that has to then have a replacement contact if that contact leaves the club. So we really need to pay attention to our global grants. Some global grants last for several years, and we need to be on top of them. We need to do our reporting. If we don't do reporting, this district is punished for it. If this reporting is below a certain percentage, this district will not be allowed to submit any further applications for grants. So you all need to have a fiduciary responsibility to the Rotary Foundation as well as to your club, because if you don't put your reports in a timely fashion, we will be punished for that. So let's go on to the next slide, Rudy, please. Here we go. Okay. So let's talk about what makes a successful grant. You know, the first thing you need to do is do the global grant requirements first. Make sure you understand what the requirements are and make a list of those requirements and make sure your committee knows what the requirements are. And then based upon the community needs assessment, when you get the results of that assessment, you are then in a position to create a written project plan. This plan is going to go into your application. So you really have to give it some thought. It can't just be, well, we're going to buy 1,000 books and give them to the school. You know, that's really not a very adequate explanation. So you need to take some time, sit down with this, sit down with your committee or the other people that are working with you and create a project written plan that is complete, that is full. The more information you give in the global grant, the better it is. It's not like the district grant where, you know, you don't want to write a book. And you don't want to write a book with this either, but you do want to have more detail because they are going to ask for that detail if you don't have it there. The other issue is, you know, a lot of people have been afraid to do global grants because they're so difficult and so, oh my gosh, takes so much time. Well, I've already told you it's not rocket science. But, you know, if you have something missing or something that's not quite right in your application, you will get an email from the Rotary Foundation detailing exactly what you have to do to make it right. They will give you a recipe. They just take you by the hand and walk you down the garden path. It's so simple. They make it very simple for you. So don't be afraid of maybe making an error or maybe leaving something out because they will catch it. They will tell you about it and they will tell you how to fix it. So it is really easy. As I've already told you, print out your global grant application template and use it. Have your template reviewed by experts or at least by somebody other than you, because after a while, I don't know about you, but I go a little blind to some errors I may have made, and you're looking at it so often, you just don't see it anymore. After review by experts, send your template to your partner for their review. If you are the international partner, you expect to get that template from that host partner. And if you don't get it, the grant's not moving along. You'll need to contact the host and find out what's going on. Fill out the online application using the template that you have already completed. And then follow TRF instructions, the Rotary Foundation instructions completely. As I said, they will take you by the hand and lead you down the garden path so that your application is correct and will be approved. Let's move on, please, Rudy. Rudy, there we go. Okay, we need to talk a little bit about sustainability. You know, in the past, when we were using the old grant module that we had once upon a time in Rotary, there was really nothing about sustainability. And we would go into a village somewhere and dig a borehole well and pay them their $6,000 or $8,000 for the borehole well and walk away and say, here you go, folks, here's your clean water, have a nice life, bye. And then, of course, you know, somebody would kick a rock into the borehole well and plug it up and it wouldn't work. And there goes our $6,000 to $8,000 literally down the drain. Well, we don't do that anymore. We talk now about sustainability. If you're going to dig a borehole well, you better include maybe a little vocational service training in the village to teach someone how to fix it and to make sure that that borehole well is going to be viable for many years to come. And also to look into perhaps being able to raise some money that will give them the money for repairs beyond the competence of their village workers. So sustainability is an absolute necessity, and you need to state sustainability in your application. How is this going to be taken care of when we say bye-bye? So I've given you a list of the questions that you need to think about. And we have all kinds of sustainability issues with cultural, environmental, economic, and social issues. You don't go to Yemen and do a hunger project and try to serve them ham sandwiches. That's the bottom line. So we need to think about all these things. Okay, let's go on to the next one, Rudy. All of these issues need to be addressed, and believe me, it doesn't take much time to do it. Here we go. Now, you know, what are we doing this for? Why are we bothering with all of these thousands of global grants? And we got them everywhere. Everywhere there's a Rotary Club, that country's got global grants. I mean, we've got global grants here. I did 2 global grants right here in Palm Springs. And I had an Indian partner who gave me their DDF for these global grants. So, you know, there's a couple of pictures that shows you the kinds of issues. Obviously, my pictures deal more with the medical side because I have a medical subspecialty. But this little girl, I mean, Rotary bought her uniform. Rotary built the school she's going to. And now Rotary is providing her with her artificial legs because she lost one to cancer. And every time she gains 5 pounds or grows a half an inch or an inch, she needs a new leg. So, you know, who's going to make sure this kid gets a leg? This beautiful child, 12-year-old girl, is from a Muslim family in India. It was in Mysore, India. And you can see on the bottom right there, her leg is made out of PVC pipe. And it's a very long leg. She lost all of her leg. I think she really has a hemipelvectomy. I really didn't get to see up under her skirt, but she's really lost a lot of leg. But that's what your money has done for this child. And that's what your money will continue to do for her, even when she's an adult. If she continues to grow, gain weight, lose weight, hopefully, no, let's go back, please. Hopefully she is still alive. That's my heartbreak, that she may not even be alive today. But, you know, you can be so proud that your money does these kinds of things and helps this little girl on the right bottom who just about burned off all of her skin and will get the skin grafts that she needs. So, you know, these projects bring your club out of the darkness into the stage lights of humanitarianism. That's what these kinds of projects do. Let's go on, Rudy. Thank you. Okay. And again, you know, there are some of our members, even today, I've been in Rotary since 1994, and even today, they will say to me, well, what do we need to spend our money overseas for? I mean, we need it here. Well, that's true. And that's why we have district grants. But we are an international organization. And I just thought that we need to really look at why we need to do global grants. And the bottom line is that Rotary is an opportunity. And the Rotary Foundation gives us the greatest opportunity to do good in the world. It allows you to reach across to every part of the Rotary world to do good. Talk about being a world-class humanitarian. That's what you bring your club into when you do these kinds of global grants. Let's move on, Rudy, please. I think we're almost at the end. Did we miss one? Was that the last one? Okay. Go on to the last one. The last one will give you how to contact Steve and myself and the district cadre members. You can find them in the district directory. It's Rudy, PDG Rudy, and PDG Taco Loretta, and DG, and soon to be DG, Dan Goodrich. All of the cadre members can help you. They can help you plan it. They can help you implement it. They can help you write it. They all have experience in doing that. So remember to use your cadre. Remember to use your DRFC Steve Yeager. All of the people in this district, we are doing it only to help our district members, and it is our pleasure to help you in any way we can. Okay, do we have any question? Let's get the PowerPoint off the screen and spread y'all out. There you are. Hallelujah. You're still looking great. Any questions? Yes, Patsy.
I have actually three. International partner, is there a minimum they have to contribute to the grant?
Well, you know, every global grant has to be a minimum of $30,000. And we don't have the DDF anymore that we used to, because with the changes in the DDF allocations, we are only going to get 80% match for DDF. Each side is supposed to, you know, contribute an equal amount, but that rarely happens. In order to reach the amount of money that you need, they do have to contribute X number of dollars. Now, how they get that is up to them. They can have other clubs on their side come into the global grant and give their DDF or give their cash so that they will reach the amount that they need to get. But by hook or crook, that $30,000 has to be put together so that it all comes. But included in that $30,000 is the DDF match.
Right. Okay. Next question. When you're writing an application, do you want to secure partners with money before, after, both? Does it help in your application if you already have some money lined up, or?
Well, you know, you can start your application online and you can fill it out as far as you can go. And you can stop because it will save it. And you can then keep going back to it. I like to do a grant having already established the finances, because if I can't establish the finances, gee whiz, I'm just, you know, I'm beside myself knocking on doors trying to get deals.
Yeah. I know how that goes. Yeah. Okay, last question. Are you doing in-person presentations at this time?
Not during the pandemic. I will do a Zoom presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. That was your third
Okay.
question. That was
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions? Yes, Julie.
Hi, yeah, this has been fantastic. I just have a question about the time frame. Do you have an average kind of time frame between making application and hearing about the money?
Well, as I said, personally, I like to have my ducks in a row, and I like to have my money already figured out before I put in an application. But you can put in your application online. You can fill it out as far as you can go online. You just don't submit it. You save it, and it stays on the Rotary website until you go back to it. And I think that you really need to get it moving within, I would say, a 6-month period of time. A lot of the applications are still sitting online after a year, and that gets cumbersome, and it gets cumbersome for the TRF personnel. I think it's best that you really get all your ducks in a row, and then you move forward with that application.
Thank you, thank you.
My pleasure.
Helene, would you mention about the area of focus managers at Rotary International Foundation that can help?
Well, talking about areas of focus, you know, when you do a global grant, you can designate the grant in multiple areas of focus. And most grants do cover multiple areas of focus. However, it is much simpler to do a global grant with one area of focus mentioned, because otherwise you are really going to have a lot of things that you have to satisfy. So, you know, I like to keep things simple and focused, but there are areas of focus, people at Rotary International who can help you in planning in a particular area of focus, and you can contact them and you can actually communicate with them so that they can advise you. You know, Rotary really has a plethora of information, of help, of people who are more than willing, they're eager to help you. And you really need to reach out and use as many of those people at the Evanston level, at the district level. That's what we're all kind of here for, to kind of help each other. And we want you to succeed. And Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation wants you to succeed. And it will help you umpteen times. Don't ever think that too many questions are too many. Don't ever think that. I hope you want to say something, Rudy?
Just kind of tag on that. Each one of those does want to help you. So if you have difficulty, whether that's in peace building grant or water sanitation, or even our new person, I haven't seen the name yet for the environmental sustainability person, but we'll know that by July 1. And the criteria to put a grant together on environmental sustainability, but they are there to support your work. They want you to be successful, and they want to make sure our grants out there are successful. So don't be afraid to reach out to that staff. That's what they're there for.
That's exactly right. Yes, Brian.
Hi, I was a few minutes late, so I hope I'm not asking something that already was addressed. But is it normal or possible for clubs within a district to join together their resources and then thus look for a particular grant, international grant? Is that a normal occurrence? And is there a list of within our own district or other districts looking for partners to join a global grant?
Yes, you can ask other districts to join in your grant. You can ask other clubs to join in your grant. And this district actually can join in your grant as well. The district itself can have a global grant going and can request the clubs to join. So you have a lot of permutations of who can be part of the grant. And you should use every permutation you can, because it is only to the financial benefit of the global grant and raising the money that you need to have. Did I answer your question? Great. Anybody else have a question? Yes, David. There we go.
What's the normal turnaround time right now for TRF? Before, it's been sometimes you'd submit a complete application with the funding, the budget, et cetera, but you wouldn't get a response from the foundation for months with regards to what their questions are or what the status is.
Well, my experience has been that the turnaround time is very quick. Usually you put in a grant, I would say within a month, you're going to hear if they have any questions. They are very judicious in their reviews of the applications. They obviously have the requirements for them, just as you have the requirements for you, and they follow those requirements assiduously. I have had no complaints from any of the global grant applicants in this district that they have waited too long to hear from the Rotary Foundation. You also will hear from me very quickly if I discover that your reports are late, because there was a short period of time when we got notified by the Rotary Foundation that our reporting was below the percentage that was allowable, and that we would not be able to submit any further applications until those reports were turned in. So I'm on it and getting in touch with those contact members from the various clubs that have global reports that are outstanding. So do remember, I'll come after you. I'll come after you. And I won't be smiling, because we won't be able to put in any more applications if we're not allowed, because our reports are overdue. So please keep that in the back of your mind. When your report is due, make sure you file it. And if your partner is supposed to file it and does not, you contact that partner and you find out what's happening. Where are we going with this? And if it's necessary, you may have to file a report. I've had some cases where the project has been in an area of warring people, And there were so many problems that the host could not do the report. And so the international partner, one of our clubs, had to do the report and did it. They filed the report. So please make that a major issue. David, another one?
Yes, that deals with the second issue I have, and that is that if you have an international partner who is having difficulty, partly because of language problems and other maybe cultural problems in completing the application and the reports, can we prepare the application itself so long as they sign it, as long as the host country signs it?
Yes. And I have done that with Indian partners. Some of the English and the Hindi English is a little stilted, and I have gone in and I have changed what they have written. Your partner, if you have an international partner, they have a responsibility to send you that application before they file it with the Rotary Foundation. And that gives you the opportunity to review it, to edit it, add, change, whatever. And it is your responsibility, and you should do it. You should always take a look at that report before the application, before it goes in. You don't want to support a blind application where you know nothing that's in it. So you need to read it. Thanks.
Yes, I think that's important to be in the MOU, frankly, that if the MOU should state that both parties have to, both international, the partner and the host partner have to agree and sign off on anything submitted to the foundation.
Well, both parties have to file the MOU with their district in order to be qualified to do a global grant. But yes, the responsibility, when you signed that grant application and the other party signs that grant application, that's the legal signage that TRF wants. Good questions, David. Thank you. Oh, yes, Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hello, Helene. Just for detail, we have participated in a global grant for the Salton City High School.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have any data about the progress of that. It seems to be slowing down. Can you help us?
I do not have any information about that. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it has stalled. And so the person to specifically contact for that, because he generated the grant, was Ricardo Lareda, Taco. Contact him and ask him about it, and he would have full information. He's the primary contact on that grant.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
We have another hand up here.
Dr. Shirley.
Unmute yourself.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I did have a question. So I was wondering, because I was reading online the information regarding the global grants. And so how would I know if my grant idea is eligible? Who do I talk to before I write the application?
You could talk to our DRFC Steve Yeager. You could talk to any one of the 5 cadre members in this district. So if you need the separate contact information, send me an email. I'll be happy to give you all of their contact information. Where are you? There you are. And did you get my email address down?
Yes.
You did. Okay. Send me an email and I'll send you all their contact information.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Any other questions? Does everybody think that doing a global grant is still rocket science? Do I see anybody head shaking yes? No, I got you. See, oh, that's great. I'm glad. Oh, that's what you call a real snow job, right? Now, I hope that every one of your clubs will continue to do global grants. And we have some global grant clubs here with us today that are doing phenomenal global grants, like Patsy Orr. Where's Patsy? She moved. There she is. Patsy's club is doing Hope After Fire, where you saw that little girl, the picture that we took of that little girl with all the burns. That's one of Patsy Orr's club's projects. I mean, we've got wonderful projects here. Yes, Patsy.
I just have to say thanks to Helene because she got me involved in that.
Yeah, that's quite a program. Dr. Shirley, are you still asking a question? Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing. Do you mind sharing your email in the chat in case anyone else needed it? I was just thinking maybe someone else might need it.
I will do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And of course, you know, the district directory has all of our information too, but not everybody has the district directory. Okay, there, now you all have it.
I also will be emailing out the PowerPoints to everybody who registered for these 2 sessions so that you have those in your hand too.
Additionally, Rudy, could you make sure we copy the chat on this because these presentations are going to qualify clubs for the grants management seminar.
I can, not everybody put their names in the chat, but
Okay. All right, so maybe
maybe what you could do here before you leave this meeting today, go ahead over in the chat box, put your name and club name in the chat box. If everybody would please do that right now, go to the chat box, put your name and your club name in there, please. And so I save that list from the chat box. I'll have all that information.
Any more questions, comments? Great. It's been a pleasure.
great job, Elaine, as always.
A good job. I'm going to stay here because everybody's got to get, before you leave, make sure that you type your name and your club's name in there, in that chat box for me, please. So we've got everybody covered here. Helene, one of the other names that you might add on there, another member of our club, he actually lives up in Colorado, Dr. Kanadi is a cadre member, and he's a member of our club, which makes him a member of our district.
Yeah, I contacted him when I saw his name appear for the first time and found out that he lives someplace else. I don't remember where, but yeah. So he's in the World Peace Club, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a member of our club. Yeah, which makes it a member of the district. So.
Phil, you still on here, Phil?
Still is, yeah.
Phil Bremenstall?
Yeah.
I think he left.
No, he's still here.
Oh, well, I just, I texted Ricardo about the grant over there at the school on Catilla, and he said he's meeting with Cecilia Walker. She's our regional grants writer for, our regional grants coordinator, sorry, for our zone. And she is having a meeting with him next Wednesday, and he will be resubmitting. She's helping him out on the, some of the things that he has to go through to get it completed and approved. So
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Yep.
I'd just like to say thanks to Rudy for facilitating our groups. I know you're probably at every single one. You do a fantastic job at making we presenters look good. So thank you, Rudy.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I am at every one. We got 1 or 2 left to go yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. D. Thomas, you can unmute yourself there. I see you have your hand up, please. You got her hand up. I don't know how long she's able to hold her hand in the air here. So.
D, are you there, D. Thomas? No.
She's allegedly still there. Okay, everybody, please, again, please put your name and club name in the chat box for me, so we have a full list of everybody who attended today.
Email addresses don't work. We need your name.
Name and club name. And Steve, will you have the new form that you send out to everybody for them to sign with their next year's club president and the president-elect?
Absolutely. That form will be going out sometime this next week once I reconcile the chat list.
It's all good. Brescia, you've been very quiet down there. Good to see you today.
Thank you. Good to see you all. Excellent presentations. Thank you.
Patsy, you waving there? You're muted, so we can't hear you. You see your hand moving.
I'm waving goodbye.
Okay. Say hi to Al for us.
Sure will.
Steve, your dogs weren't too bad. Only barked like once.
Yeah, it's strange for them. They tend to think they need to protect us against hot air balloons, and because of the marine layer this morning, there weren't any balloons up. Although they did get fired up when the F-16s were flying over.
Oh. That probably hurts their ears a bit. That sound goes by.
Linda Krupa, how are you feeling? Okay.
Okay. Aline, any final words or any, or Dan?
Well, I mean, it was great presentations and a lot of great information from all three presenters if you've been hanging out with us since 9 o'clock. You know, folks, doing grants foundation is how I cut my teeth into this district. And so I have a real passion for it myself. And it isn't rocket science, like Helene said. It does take some time and a little bit of finessing. But like anything else in life, if it's worth working for, you'll make it happen. You know, there's a lot of questions about how to proceed and how to process, and there's multiple ways to go about it. I think a lot of it was Helene, you know, she's point on about, you know, get your ducks in a row. And so depending on how you get your ducks in a row will probably depend on the scope and size of your grant. Our human trafficking grant was $180,000. I didn't go out and secure all the funding for that before I knew they would approve it. So we took the other course avenue, which was we made sure that the grant was going to be something that Rotary would approve before we went all out and started asking everybody for DDF and money. It really is a labor of love, but the rewards are incredible. The old saying is, I joined Rotary to change the world, but Rotary changed me. Grants are something that you can really feel great about doing. It is in your community, it's around the world, or, you know, wherever you're doing them. It's just a wonderful feeling for me, and it keeps me motivated to do them. And I think that our district has been very successful in doing a lot of great projects around the world and in our district. So again, I'm going to encourage you to spend your money. This is not a thing that we want to continue to bank money on. As DRFC Steve pointed out, Rotary in 5 years is, if you don't spend your money in Rotary in 5 years, is going to take that money. So we, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we're working on changing policies in the district to make that a little easier for you to spend your money, and also motivate you to spend your money, because and I'll use a past district governor, Schaub. He used to have a tagline. It says, folks, we're in the service business, not in the banking business. And I never forgot that. And so I think that as a district and as clubs, we need to remember that. We are donating it. Our members are donating it. We're the leaders. It's up to us to use it, to put it to use. It's very inspiring when you hear the wonderful projects about how you helped a burn victim in Patsy's case, or a crippled child in Helene's scenario, or anything to do with the youth or the elderly, or anything that you're doing, whatever happens to be your passion. Mine is water and sanitation. I'm not sure how I got pulled into human trafficking and peace and conflict resolution, but it was an idea that hit me across the zone and across international convention. And I just thought, wow, this is an area that we could tackle. And 2020 is when we started. So when somebody asked, how long does it take? It depends. There's no good answer for that. It could be done in a, you know, like Helene said, if your ducks are in a row and you got your financing and it's a, you know, a $30,000 project, you could probably get it done in 6 months. if you have the money. Talk to Dennis Spurgeon and Project Peanut Butter. He's working on projects for multiple years in different areas of the world. It's taken the team, and I will call it a team. The team that we put together for human trafficking has been working on it for more than a year now. So it's really a good labor of love, and it's something that once you get that, you know, we've all been bitten by the Rotary bug, but once you get bit by the grant bug, you're infectious at that point, because then you're not going to want to stop. So I hope that everybody enjoyed today, the information. I thought the presentations were incredible. I want to thank everybody for coming out and spending a little time on a Saturday with us. These presentations do qualify your clubs now to be able to be part of Global Grants as partners. You can, you know, if the clubs that didn't attend, they can still contribute, but they're not going to have their name on it. And we had a great presentation today on district grants, and that's those community grants that we get back in our club to be able to use that money. I encourage you all to use that money. I mean, that gives us the ability to do work in our community, and it spreads the face and name of Rotary, which has a multiple fold of effect. I mean, you're building membership, you're expanding our name, our reach into the community, and all good things come out of that. There is nothing that can never come bad out of doing a community grant. I encourage you to apply for it. Mary Brown showed you how to do that. We'll be opening that up on July 1st, and it won't be too much longer. We'll be sending out the list of the DDF. I know Steve's been working really hard on that, and he's also working hard on putting a list together of all the global grant projects that, you know, we, as Helene pointed out, we used to have a list. Well, we're working on getting that list back. And we're going to put that on our district website so that people can see what's out there that they can participate in and what you are all putting together. So maybe your club goes out and wants to do a global grant and you're looking for some help on funding. We're going to have the ability for you to go onto the district website, see that, and then you'll know who to contact, ask questions, or contribute to. So it's, yeah, they're baby steps, but we're getting there, folks. And wasn't too long ago that we just redid our website. So as we go through those steps, we're trying to make improvements along the way. Those are visions that I have to help the clubs. In addition to that, I'll be going to be speaking to a few like Helene. You can expect this to be coming. Not that I'm volunteering you, but I really want your help on it. And Rudy and Steve, it's my hope that we're going to put together a project fair so that we can actually have a bunch of grants, because we want to make presentations and let people come to see that so that they also get a hands-on feel of what's going on. Presentations, if you will. And it's easier to do that when we're all in a room. Trust me, making presentations to over 30 clubs asking for funding is very time consuming. And so when you look at it and go, it takes a year to get your funding together, it's a lot simpler if we could all start working in that direction. So look for that, and I'm trying to figure out a date for that. I'm hoping I can do it in November, but November is really busy. But we'll see what we can do, and it's my goal to have one on the west and the east. So same presentation on each side, so not everybody's going to be driving all the way to the other side of the district. So that's my hope. I pray for you, and I hope that everybody stays safe, and I bid you a good day and a better weekend, and thank you again for coming today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Rudy,
Yes.
are you able to forward to me the chat list here of all those names?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
perfect.
You'll have it.
Okay, great. Thanks. Just making sure. And I sent you a request, Dr. Helene, the slide in your presentation. Okay, that'd be perfect. Thank you so much. And thanks. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thanks again, Rudy.
You're welcome. Till next we meet. See you, Julie. Oh, Julie. Hey,
Yes.
I know Asha was on her training she was having today. She had that meeting she put together over there from her organization. That's why she wasn't able to make this. And so we'll connect yet and talk through some things.
Good. I have a few questions that I think only you can answer, but maybe
That's scary.
you know a lot. You know a lot. Thank you so much. This was
You're welcome.
fantastic, really.
Super. Thanks, Marilyn. All right. I'm going to end this